What up, though, y'all? Welcome to the channel. My name is SoFarSoRay. I got a new guest in the building. This is my dog. He do poetry, you feel me? He be out doing big events, all types of different creative aspects for all over in Michigan, for real. Y'all got to tune in with the dude. Tell him your name, man.
Well, they call me Squeeze, you know what I'm saying? But my name is Jason. You can find me at squeezefirst.com. So if you want to know what my name is or anything about the background of that, just go there, squeezefirst.com. Spell it out.
Yes, sir. See, we go back to college days at EMU.
Yeah.
Whole lot of different crazy events,
Yeah.
situations, memories. You feel me? Parties, poetry society.
Man.
What would you say was like one of your favorite poems that you wrote or performed?
Oh man. I don't know if I got a favorite. Everything is different. And I was just literally was just at the Mariners Inn. They got a lot of brothers in there that's in recovery and stuff, and that's going and growing through a lot of situations. And when I went there to speak to them, I was just really like, everything is really for the general aspect of the human experience, just being a human being. We all going through so much. So I'm always writing from different perspectives, trying to figure out what's the best way where I can reflect on the environment and the people around me. So I don't know if I got a favorite. I like a lot of, I got a lot of dope poems. Black Bodies is out, which is going to be in the book that I'm sure we're going to talk about. But I don't think I got a favorite. I like all of them. They all good in my opinion.
I like when you be spitting, you close your eyes.
Sometimes I have to because
You be deep in it too. It look like you be reaching for your soul when you be, doing that. And your eyes get to close. I'm like, oh yeah, he feeling that. Yeah, that's been fire watching that. Let's see, what was your life like during your college days, and how was life today?
Yeah, I don't even know. Bro, he said it earlier. We was literally turning up, like just having fun. When you're young and you just want to connect with people, you just want to show love and give good energy all the time. We were bringing that. We were trying to just do it in every environment. So it was a lot of party, a lot of fun, but also bringing a lot of people in. Showing a lot of people like it ain't no in crowd and out crowd, like we all here together.
Right.
Yeah.
Regardless of your background, where you came from, it was just all about growing consciously, growing in knowledge, growing in experiences. So not only we party, but I feel like we learned a lot too.
Yeah, it was a learning. College, the real shit is like college is more than just the classroom learning experience. When you go to, especially go to a university or something like that, that's why they probably encourage a lot of people like go to a community college your first couple of years. So you really had the opportunity to lock in and study, and so it can really be about the school. Because when you're doing the university, sometimes like you gonna have a lot of experiences that's outside of the classroom. Like you learning outside of the classroom all the time, just from life experiences, dealing and meeting new people, learning about stuff that you never heard of, or meeting types of people that you never met before in your past, and then discovering yourself. So how you going, your pride, your anger, all your mixed emotions, like you learning how to deal with those things, how to manage all that stuff. So I would say the university experience is definitely more than you learning more than just in the classroom, for sure.
All that freedom,
Yeah.
especially if you coming from a household where you either had strict parents or it was just like you had to be in the house at a certain time. It's like that freedom you get from being in college. It also sends you on that want to explore.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like we had so many more experiences too. But then it came with a lot of responsibilities as well.
Heck yeah.
Lots of responsibilities.
Paying that rent, then you get that apartment, you know what I'm saying? Also, just you can't just, you ain't got nobody to tell you what to do or where to go. Or, sometimes you do have freedom when you growing up, but you'll get into a situation where it's like, shoot, I ain't got to go to sleep. You know what I'm saying? We gonna party, it's a Wednesday and Thursday, but you got to class the next day or something. And now you in there like you can't really pay attention, or you don't make it to the class at all. Yeah, it's gonna cost. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna cost. They're gonna have that bill for you, And even if you ain't paying it down, and you got Sally Man stuff, you got all types of student loans and stuff or whatever, they you know what I'm saying? It costs. So it's like you learn the easy way or the hard way, for sure.
Facts. And as far as your experience, like being at school and all that, you joined the fraternity, right?
Yeah.
So tell us about your fraternity.
Shout out Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. I really appreciate just the whole experience just because I was able to get some brothers that had to like for the thing of, I don't know if it's like this in all fraternities, but in my fraternity at Zeta Epsilon at Eastern Michigan University, which is the school we met at where we were at, you meet people who got to deal with you regardless. Especially if y'all go through. I know they outlawed and stuff, but like you go through the experience of being online and going through all these learning experiences together. Like when you're done, you really have people who like y'all might not be the same. Y'all might not like the same type of stuff. Y'all might not get along all the time. But at the end, it's like always like this ounce of love. And I feel like that's how people have in they real brothers. Like sometimes you have a brother and y'all might not get along, but y'all might be different in a lot of ways. But at the base, at the foundation of it, you know what I'm saying, there's this love that y'all share. So I appreciate that a lot. Sure.
Being part of a brotherhood and organizations, like what could you say have been the main focus? Like, did it garner towards community, financial, social connections, clout, popularity, and knowledge? Like, did it stem from like how you grew up, not having any brothers and stuff like that?
Yeah, it was for me. That's really where it stemmed from. I didn't have any like brothers that I grew up with. I do have two half brothers that are older than me. We got the same father that he had in his previous marriage and stuff. But when I was growing up as an only child, I just didn't have that connection with people. So at first I was really anti. Like I didn't like none of the fraternity stuff. I was just so different, and I just was like, man, forget all that stuff, man. We turning up. We just we because sometimes in those fraternities, sororities, people will be trying to feel elitist. Like they better than somebody or they more prestige than somebody because they didn't became a part of this organization. And that used to get on my nerves. Like I used to see people out and on the campus and stuff. And I was just like, man, that shit is whack. And I used to always try to figure out ways to get on people's nerves or just be in a way sometimes. But I feel like it was divine, like it was meant to be because I was never interested until I seen a Sigma that was on campus. You know what I'm saying? And they was Sigmas was suspended at Eastern at the time, so they wasn't around. There was some people who I hadn't seen, and then I had seen one, and I was like, man, who is that? Like that seemed like a cool situation to be in. So I went up and talked to him. He was like, for real, we was suspended, but we coming back this next semester. So we recruiting and stuff. You should come to our meeting. So I went, sat down, met all the people who became my brothers, my line brothers. And it was history from there. But it was really about having genuine connection with people. Like it just was a genuine connection. Like these brothers was very like authentic as individuals, and I appreciated that a lot.
That's what's up. So following from that, it bring me to ask, like, what's your spiritual, religious, or philosophies on consciousness built on? Like, what's the foundation? What's your beliefs?
Um, so I'm not a person that's gonna try to put you down and to build me up or anything. I think God is so like
Frequency of love.
yes, absolutely. The frequency of love, but God is so like we have to understand that if we were created by a divine entity or a divine being, then that being or that entity has to be way more complicated or whatever than what we could ever understand.
We trying to lean on our own understanding, but we
Yeah,
never be able to comprehend something on that level.
exactly. And sometimes we take, ourselves and we try to put ourselves in it, you know what I mean? And then we try to create what it is or what it ain't or all that type of stuff. And I believe that that you take the good with the good and then just leave the bad where it's at. I feel like I grew up in the church, like in the Christian church and the CME church and all that. But growing up, going through college and meeting so many different people, I studied Buddhism, I done studied Islam, I done studied all these different types of religions, you know what I mean? And I have like understood that I don't think none of it's wrong, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? I think that, when people, they put a lot of themselves in it. a lot of their own stipulations and stuff in there. I think some of that stuff is just people being people, but in some ways I feel like God is so abundant, so full and complete that we could never define it with our words or reasons and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it all boils down to begin with your own relationship that you have with God outside of like all the religious aspects. Because I know a lot of religion is used for organizations, it's used for agendas and stuff like that. So I believe God has instilled in us the more importance of building a relationship.
Yeah.
And the relationship comes from within, that's something that you have when you go to your secret place and you know how God operate with you in your life.
Yeah.
So I feel like it ain't always about trying to point the finger at somebody else's religion or something like that. It's really about building a relationship. And I think if we get away from all the religious aspects of it, we'll see what's really the truth. Because I feel like it's a lot of lies and truths mixed in.
Yeah.
With a lot of it.
I agree.
A lot of different things, you feel me? So it all boils down to that relationship that you have with God. And that can come from some of the practices you do, prayer life, fasting, the way you treat other people, especially how you treat other people overall.
Yeah.
So
I take time to like meditate too, man. I take a lot of time just to ground myself, and get connected, to be honest, because first you gotta know that you gotta, like you said, you gotta go within. You know what I mean? You gotta be able to show, understand, like search within yourself so you can be able to show love and understanding and respect for all the stuff around you. You know what I mean? Like people, we gotta love ourselves as individuals. You know what I'm saying? And it's not. And I understand sometimes the world has conditioned people to feel some type of way about themselves, or they didn't use so much propaganda, so you think about so many ways about different things. And the truth is, like, we all are like a reflection of each other. You know what I mean? We all are reflections, within it. So we gotta love yourself, man. And then with that, you can love anything and everybody. You know what I'm saying? Even people you ain't never met before, you can still have love and show love for them, just by finding love within yourself first.
Facts. So speaking on what we believe, I got a book right here. It's called I Believe When What You Believe Matters by Eldon Taylor.
Okay.
So this book, it talks about, your belief system. It talks about how you think on a day-to-day basis and all of that, and how you pretty much create your reality where you put your energy at.
So check it out.
Yeah, it's a good book overall. It's a new view of mind and consciousness is arising from within science and psychology. This I would take the science and psychology and mix it with the conscious, the spiritual aspect as well, because you have to have the completeness of it.
Yeah.
I feel like science often explains God, but they deny God at the same time.
Yeah.
But they give you the results of what God does, but they just claim it for their own mundane human credit, credibility overall.
I can understand.
So yeah, it's a good book to check out though, definitely. So seeing that it's Black History Month, we're gonna dive into a few things on that. What parts of Black history garnered your attention the most? And are there any aspects of history that people may not be aware of that you know?
I feel like, so right now we're connected or right next to, within the city of Detroit. I feel like there's so much history that's just in that city by itself. So many people that's built organizations, people. I got so much love for like James Baldwin, you know what I mean? Just because he was like a very passionate, unapologetic, Black person, but beyond that, he was very like he had respect for people all over the world. He traveled to learn and experience so many different things. And then you start to understand that your history as a Black person is way deeper than what you've been taught, or what's been over the last few hundred years, like your history is way more complex or has more context than that. And then when you bring it back to today, a lot of things that people are, I guess, not aware of is like we got. I want to give a shout out to it. The Detroit Black Community Food Sovereignty Network. Just because these things are nationwide, you know what I mean? Talking about food sovereignty, food security, knowing that we got to be able to feed ourselves or be able to source and know where our food comes from, be able to do that for our children because we eat and we deal like they feed us so much trash, so much stuff. And then they condition you to want these. Like it's all a mind game. You know what I mean? Like, side note, one day I was so I don't be eating a lot of additives. You know what I mean?
Preservatives,
Preservatives.
chemicals.
Yeah, a lot of processed sugars and stuff. And one day, I ate these like Sour Patch Kids just because a friend of mine had them on top of their refrigerator, and I was just like, oh, I ain't ate these in a minute, and I ate like the whole bag almost. That day, I had this is real life. Like I had so many like intrusive thoughts, and my brain was just like going through all these different like alley alleyways and vias where I was like thinking about stuff. My mind was like just racing through stuff. And I understand like some of this stuff is not even for you,
Drug.
to eat. It's really like you said, it's a drug. It's really there to play on your mind and make you, for what benefit? I would say just because they want to put money in their pockets, so they want you to eat, buy and buy and buy them.
So
But it could be even deeper than that. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, it's part of the programming overall.
yeah,
They want us to be occupied with consuming, obeying. So it's mindful that we have to be mindful of what we take in our eye gates and our ear gates and in our mouth. As much as we eat, they put poisons in the food. Certain things that's being approved, and then later on down the line, they talk about it's a recall. How much they'll get a recall? There's so much food we eat, they be getting recalls and stuff like that. But it's like by the end, it has already been flowing within our genetics,
Right.
and altering whatever, creating problems and cancers and
all types of
illnesses.
stuff.
Yeah, so it's like who's going to get where's the precaution, or who's the people that's going to be held accountable for what is being done?
Yeah.
It's like a cultural lawsuit. You
Yeah.
feel me? Like a class act for a culture overall.
So with that, it's like the food sovereignty, the food security, man. You have to be able to source your food or just be able to understand, learn for yourself, how to grow food, how to make food, how to do all these different things. You can create, muffins on your own or cereal, all this type of stuff. It's like all types of things that you can do that you can. So shout out to the Food Sovereignty Network here in Detroit. I feel like right now that's Black history in the making right now for the last 10, 15 years. So
Okay, dealing with food. Let's see what else. What do you think the melanated African American people can do to elevate the culture? Because it's a lot of, glorified toxicity that has been taught and accepted, whether it's mainstream and households and social media. Like, what else can we do to elevate as people?
man, we gotta stop being consumers like that. Like you said, the whole consumerism idea. It's like somebody
Create more.
create more, man. Because somebody's always trying to sell you something or give you something and some of this stuff is stuff you don't even want. You know what I mean? Like some of this stuff you buy just because or you eat or whatever, and then you get it, and then you just have it sitting around your house or something, and you don't even want it. And with the food, so many people throw away so much food. So much food go to the garbage because you have stuff and we sold stuff that we don't even want. So we got to stop being consumers, and be more producers, for real.
Facts. I know because I definitely spent a lot of money and I spent a lot of time consuming overall. But I had to think back and reflect on when I was doing a lot of creating.
Mm-hmm.
Doing so much creating don't even give you that much time to consume, and then you also be able to put your more energy direct toward what you want to output.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it's better for me to be a generator overall
Yeah,
than somebody that be taking in all the time.
that's real.
And then it gives us that point where we have to be very sensitive and aware of what it is we take in too, because it plays into our psyche.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I said, a lot of that stuff you don't even want. Like you get it, and
They program you to want it.
Yep.
You ever watched that movie? What was it called? It had Will Smith. It was like a gambling, like a hustle type movie.
Oh yeah.
And he was programming the man with the numbers and stuff.
Yeah, that's real life though. We're not computers, we're not robots, of course, but our brain does like the way that they
Focus.
They build a lot of these things based on how we operate. You know what I mean? So if they can program anything else, they can definitely program a human.
Life's algorithm.
Yeah.
And that's the point. We can literally change our algorithm.
Yeah.
So until you jump on social media, and then you got to fight with their algorithm. But in this real world, I think we got to remember that it's all about what goes on in the tangible and the physical world, rather than just diving into that phone all the time, because the phone becomes people's new reality, and they pour themselves and their mind into it, and not knowing that they don't have the full control over it, and what's coming back is what they're gonna be carrying.
Yeah, and it's addictive. Like it create habits and routines and stuff. And the same routine that you get from smoking a joint or whatever, which do what you got to do or do what you do.
But condemn you,
no. Definitely not. But what I'm saying is the same benefit that you get, not benefit, but same effects that you get from smoking a joint or having a drink of wine or whatever on your brain is some of the same effects that you get from being on these phones and doing all this stuff all day. You know what I mean? So take time, and sometimes you got to take time and reprogram yourself. And sometimes you have to go through like a period of not struggle, but you gotta you're gonna have withdrawals. You're gonna have situations where you're gonna want something or you're gonna have the desire for something. And you're gonna have to be like, no, I'm good on that. Until you get to a point where you don't even have no desire for it no more. You don't even want it no more. And the stuff we buy, even outside of food, I was talking to my friend and she was like, she a heavy consumer. She gonna buy a lot of stuff. She got all the different trinkets and clothes and shoes and jewelry, all that stuff. But she get all the stuff and then half of the stuff she don't even remember that she got it, or it just sit in the box or in the whatever on the table or under something, a bed or something. And she like, I don't even a lot of the stuff I don't even want, but she wanted it when she bought it. She got that stimulation.
Real intrinsic value.
Yeah, they got that stimulation from when it was purchased, but after then she didn't had it for a week or two. It's like I don't even have no desire for it. I don't even want it.
That dopamine. It's kind of like just like how people buy their drugs. Mm-hmm. Some people they go to sex, some people go to food, some people buy material. It's just like it's just all go down to consumption at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Us being mindful of what we consume would tell us how we can digest.
Yeah.
So I want a smooth digestion overall. So that's why I feel like it'd be time that you got to detox from what you watch.
Yeah.
Detox from what you eat. I be going on cleanses and stuff. I do fast. I like to do 24-hour water fast to 72-hour water fast. Sometimes you got the Daniel fast, where like you were saying, cutting out the preservatives and the additives and all of that. It's a lot of cutting out all that type of stuff and kind of eat more clean, cutting out certain meats and all of that. Just like you got the vegan diet. I did that one for about like 8 months. And it's just overall trying to learn my body better and also tune in, because when we pay attention to what we consume, it can weigh on your spirit, for good or worse.
Right.
Good or worse overall.
Yeah, that's very true. Very true.
So seeing that it's African, it's you gonna call it Black History.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like using that word no more though. Really, I don't like just saying black, white, this and that, because I feel like we not black and white. It's not black and white. They created that as a system altogether.
That's very true.
We got to start identifying with what we really are. And it's hard for people to identify because a lot of people don't really know their lineage or don't know where they come from. We know it's a lot of people that come from the South, the Caribbean, Africa, even the Middle East, as far as like the Israelites and things of that nature.
Yeah.
So I got a book right here. It's called Key Issues in the African American Experience. And this is edited by Nathan Huggins, Martin Kilson, and Daniel Fox. That's another good book for y'all. They pretty much give you different scenarios and problems and things that we deal with in the culture. Okay. That's another book you got to check out.
Definitely. I'm going to have to get a picture of all these before I get up out of here for sure.
All right. So how is it, because you're a father, right?
Yeah.
So how is it co-parenting in today's society? How does that work?
You got to grow, it's a growing process. First of all, when you have a child, man, you got to have, like I said, that first of all, as soon as you see, if anybody that's a father or mother out there, and it's the first minute they probably seen their baby, they probably was filled with some sort of energy or some sort of love that they never knew existed before that. It's really a real thing, how much you love. But the world, and not just the world, how we've been conditioned by the world. Sometimes some people allow that to like all the argument, the baby mama, baby daddy stuff, and then that stuff will start driving you away from your lineage, your legacy. Like, I don't want to deal with this, so I don't want to deal with them, And then within that, you not dealing with your child as well. You know what I mean? So I've been like me and my baby girl Taylor, like she's growing up so fast, but I'm growing up with her. You know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
she's teaching me so much stuff, and I'm like always trying to make sure that I'm instructing her and make sure that I help her understand. Like you here, like she about to be 12 in a couple of weeks, so it's like
That's crazy because I remember seeing her. That was a while back
yeah.
though, college days, you know.
Yeah, but she that age now where she got her own mind, her own personality. She got her own ideas for things. She got her own sense of pride, her sense of like love and understanding. She got friends, who like they be on the phone, on the Discord, in the chat, and the whatever. They be talking all day and playing games and doing all types of stuff. But what I learned is like well, what me and her mom learned is like everything that we do is for her. You know what I mean? We've come together where we just got a level of understanding, communication. You know what I mean? Like I don't have no like it's just it's just a real positive situation just because we get the opportunity to like love on the child. You know what I mean? And that's just one of the greatest opportunities to have. Because after we go, she's still gonna be here. You know what I mean? I'm only gonna be living for for so long, whether it's 60, 70 years or 80, 90, 100 years or more or whatever.
Generation.
It's going to be her. You know what I mean? So we got to pour everything into the child. And that's what it's really been about. And I'm glad that, this world give us the opportunity to do that. But I will say, just being conditioned by like, the whole culture of like divorce and child support, and how they try to, like you said, it ain't always black and white, like with black and white people, but with these type of situations, it's not always black and white either. And they try to make you think that, and then you think it's like me against them. Like I need to get mine from getting them.
And it create a bit of pessimism within ourselves on how we perceive and we see our own culture and what's going on in the community. And then, they portray it and how they put it on TV and mainstream social media altogether.
And it's really not that. And once you understand that, then you be in a better situation. So I am, to be honest.
Yeah, I'd be having to ask people. I always just be asking people trying to get their opinion or based on their experiences, whether they married or they got children. Because I'm like, I'm single and I don't have any kids, and I just always be thinking about it. Like, okay, when my time comes for that, how is it gonna be? So I feel like I have to take certain steps while I'm moving this earth so that I can have a foundation set that it is no repeat cycles because I'm already trying to break generational cycles as well.
Yep.
And I just observe everybody, but I observe from the outside, not seeing like it's a reality for me. It's just, I see their reality overall.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to move confident in that when that moment comes and it present.
Yeah.
So I think that's something important that we should be mindful of. Even if you, regardless of what position you in, if you got kids or you don't, it's just because it'll create that more frequency of love, of understanding if we do try to see the experiences all together. Because it's just like the minority of people, like people that's not what you would consider African American or melanated individuals and stuff, and how they look at us, oh, they so this way, they so that way. Yeah. But it's like you got to also see the programs, the systemic programming that was placed in our communities to keep us in certain huts as well. Yeah. And we're not using it as an excuse because we the ones that's going to get out here and try to make that change. Yeah. But we're also not going to be blind to the fact that we know what vices have been put up against us too.
Absolutely. And they go through that stuff too, man.
Yeah, facts.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
because it ain't really about, like I say, that black and white.
They come with the divorce, and now you didn't have to give up half of all your belongings, or whatever. Now you pay every month so many tens of thousands or however many money to this person for child support or whatever. And a lot of times that cause distance between the parent, mother or father, because I ain't gonna make it black or white, but a lot of times it be with the father, where now I'm not as connected with the child because I'm already giving so much to the mom for this and this and that. So I don't want to give nothing extra, and all that stuff. I don't want to buy this. I don't want to pay for this. I don't want to do that. Where the money at that I gave you for this and that? You know what I mean? So, it ain't just with black people or with melanated people, African American people. If anybody's listening to this or ever watched this that's not in America or not, you know what I mean, a part of this culture where you seeing it firsthand. A lot of stuff a lot of your ideas about African American people, a lot of your ideas, a lot of things that you think or you believe about is not true. It's like stuff that's been propagated and been told to you so you can think or feel some type of way about this. I feel like it's so many people out in the world where they create this idea of our people, you know what I mean? So people can have their own opinions or whatever, like, oh, I don't mess with y'all, or I can't do this and this and that. Understand that it's not true. It's really far from the truth, you know. And a lot of the issues that we go through or I go through as a person is issues that everybody in this motherfucker be going, like everybody in this building, you know, in this country be going through. So
Yeah. They just try to make it look like it's one people and stuff like that.
yep.
And then it's like y'all got to come over here, you know.
Come
You gotta
on.
experience for yourself, just like we got to come over there.
Yeah, we
Because
do.
they only show you certain things in TV and in the news, just like they only show us certain stuff over here. We know we got fake news.
They do the same thing to
Yeah.
us for y'all too. They have
Mhm.
us thinking some way about y'all. We got our opinions or whatever, you know, unless you willing to step outside of that box or do your reading, your studying, or, you know, take the time to have a conversation with somebody. But the truth is they do the same thing to us too. So no, like a lot of the stuff that you believe or you think, you know, your opinions in a lot of situations are based on somebody's propagation or propaganda about us. You know, it's not really true.
Facts.